My roommate always thinks I'm taking advantage of her because her living expenses are higher than mine. She insisted on setting up a split bill system with me. A month later, she looked at her bank balance and tearfully asked to cancel the arrangement, but the system coldly rejected her. You think it's that easy? Pay back what you owe first. When I started college, I was assigned to a two-person dorm room. I thought having fewer people would make it easier to get along. But who knew my roommate would immediately put me in my place as soon as the semester started. Your bed is closer to the light and the door, so you'll be responsible for turning off the lights and closing the door, Judy said with her head held high, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Shouldn't the last person to get into bed be the one to turn off the lights? Who said that? Of course. The person closest should turn off the lights, sure, to maintain harmony in the dorm. I agreed. Seeing that I agreed, Judy immediately linked her arm with mine affectionately and said, I was worried my roommate might be hard to get along with, but you're actually quite nice. While smiling, I pulled my hand away. By the way, how much do your parents give you for living expenses each month? Judy asked. I didn't hide it either and answered openly. 1,000. My mom gives me 2,000 a month. Judy frowned and muttered something very quietly. That evening, as I climbed into bed, I overheard her video chatting with her mother in a dialect I could understand. Mom, my roommate only gets $1,000 a month for living expenses. Is she from a poor family? Oh my, you need to be careful not to let her take advantage of you. People like that are always looking for small favors. Me, although my living expenses were low, with the money I earned from my summer job, it was equivalent to $2,000 a month. On the topic of my limited living expenses, she and her mom spent a full 30 minutes chirping at me. I held my phone and recorded the entire 30 minutes. After the video call ended, Judy lifted her head and yelled at me, Nancy, come down and turn off the lights. I want to sleep. You're already down there. Can't you turn off the lights and come up? No, I'm scared if the lights are off. You turn them off after I get into bed. Judy clasped her hands together, blinking her eyes and acting cute. You promised me. I had no choice but to get out of bed and turn off the light. Freshmen started military training at the beginning of the school year. After being in the sun all day, I immediately turned on the air conditioner when I got back. I had just stepped inside and turned on the air conditioner when Judy arrived right after me. Then she exclaimed loudly, Nancy, I haven't even arrived yet. Why did you turn on the air conditioner in advance? Doesn't it take time for the air conditioner to start cooling? I suppressed the urge to roll my eyes and explained to her, no, from now on, both of us must be present to turn on the air conditioner, unless you're willing to pay extra for the electricity bill. Fine, it's your call. Anyway, I've already decided to find a part-time job and won't be staying in the dorm often in the future. I didn't expect that after agreeing. Judy took advantage of the situation, this time. You have to pay for an extra hour of electricity. Why, you only came in 5 seconds later than me. This is your punishment. My mom was right. Poor students are always trying to take advantage of small benefits. Me, I may not be from a poor family, but I always feel like she offends all the other students who are. I turned on the small fan I brought with me, and she started shouting again, you have extra appliances. That's unfair. You should pay more for electricity, miss. Isn't your beauty lamp and tablet more power-hungry than my little fan? I was a head taller than her, and when I stood up, she seemed a bit intimidated. You're just jealous because these things are expensive. She pouted and continued, well, you're bigger than me, so you should definitely pay more for the air conditioning. Pay you more, my ass. Are you out of your mind? I couldn't help but curse at her. Tears welled up in the corners of her eyes. Can't you just talk properly? Why do you have to curse? Fine, then I'll go ask on the campus forum whether taller people should pay more for the air conditioning. Only then did she return to her seat, picking up her phone again and complaining to her mother in dialect that I'm hard to get along with. After complaining, she suddenly handed me a box of strawberries. Want some? I was startled. Are these strawberries poisoned? Just as I was about to say no, she picked up an almost rotten one and placed it on my desk. The box of strawberries costs 50, and I gave you one. You can just pay me $5. I grabbed the strawberry and threw it back into her strawberry basket. Sorry, I'm allergic to strawberries. If you don't want to pay my medical bills, take your damn strawberries and get lost. Judy finally quieted down for a while. I also found a part-time job at school, so I could earn some extra money during my free periods. A week later, Judy suddenly ran over excitedly and said she wanted to set up a split bill system with me. Please, bind with me. I pretended to disagree, but she grabbed my finger and pressed it down without another word. After the binding was successful, dormitory AA system, appeared on my phone. Once the system was activated, the first step was for everyone to contribute $500 as a fund, which would be settled and returned to us after 1 month. It seems very much like a scam app. But Judy said it was recommended by a senior from the previous year, and many people have already linked their accounts. It's very useful, and after using it, there have been no more conflicts in their dorm about splitting expenses or cleaning duties. I nodded and, after seeing Judy transfer the money, also linked my account by transferring $500 on my phone. Soon, the system prompted us on our phones to draw lots for cleaning duties. Each person would be responsible for cleaning for 1 week, including mopping, sweeping, turning off lights, and locking the door. Unfortunately, I got picked. Then the cleaning is up to you. Remember to do it thoroughly, Judy said with schadenfreude. So, during the week I was in charge of cleaning, Judy didn't even recognize the trash can, and threw all her snack wrappers on the floor. I didn't complain either, and diligently cleaned everything up. By 11 p.m., the designated lights out time, Judy was still downstairs chatting with her mom. After finishing their conversation, she started playing games, and her shouting was almost loud enough to lift the roof. I tossed and turned in bed, unable to fall asleep, so I picked up my phone and started browsing through the terms of the AA system. After she finished playing, she still wanted me to go downstairs and turn off the lights. Sorry about that, that's just how Going Dutch works. Thanks for your hard work. It's nothing, I smiled at her. I think she didn't carefully read the terms of the Dutch treat system. Disturbing others' rest during designated break times will result in a deduction of pay. On the weekend, I had to get up at 9 o'clock because I had a part-time job to go to. After quietly climbing out of bed, I heard Judy's impatient voice. Are you crazy? Why are you up so early? The designated rest time on weekends is from 11:30 p.m. to 8:00 a.m. You're the one who stayed up late, and now you're blaming me for waking you. She probably knew I had a part-time job the next day, so she deliberately stayed up later than usual and then ordered me to turn off the lights. I don't understand what benefit she gains from tormenting me like this, but when I looked at the Go Dutch agreement, I held back. I want to see if this app is really that smart. After coming back from my part-time job, I walked into the dorm and shivered. 16 degrees. Is she trying to raise penguins by setting the air conditioner so low? Didn't you say we could only turn on the air conditioner when both of us are here? I asked. It's so hot. Are you trying to kill me with this heat? She was binge-watching a show, legs crossed, with a pile of melon seed shells scattered on the floor beneath her. Just a friendly reminder. I've finished my cleaning duty for this week. It's your turn now. Judy was taken aback. She had grown so accustomed to being treated like a princess that she had completely forgotten it was her turn to clean. Could you help me sweep today, please? She clasped her hands together again and was about to blink cutely when the lights went out. We need to pay the electricity bill, Judy said. Transfer the money to me, and I'll take care of it. No need, the system app will handle it for us. Sure enough, the next second, we heard the notification sound for the deduction. Judy's account was deducted $17.9 for electricity fees. Nancy's account was deducted $4.9 for electricity fees. Judy jumped up and shouted, "Why was I charged so much?" Before I could answer her, the mechanical voice of the system echoed through the dorm. Judy, the cost of using the air conditioner alone for 1 week is $8.5, and the cost of various electrical appliances is $5.5. Nancy, who did not use the air conditioner alone for 1 week, spent $1.26 on various electrical appliances and $4.4 on shared air conditioning, calculated as $2.2 per person. During rest hours, Judy used the incandescent light alone, with an electricity cost of $0.6, and the shared incandescent light cost $2.2, calculated as $1.1 per person. Therefore, $17.9 is deducted from Judy, and $4.9 is deducted from Nancy. Judy pressed the complaint button. It's unfair. Nancy's area is larger than mine, and her nostrils are bigger too, so the air conditioning cost should be calculated more for her. The system seemed to glitch for a moment. Sorry, I can't understand your logic. To create a better dorm environment and foster a harmonious roommate relationship, I recommend you visit the neurology hospital 7 kilometers away. I burst out laughing. Judy gritted her teeth and said, "Fine, just you wait." She told me to wait. And the result was that our dorm received a red slip for failing the hygiene inspection. Judy looked at me with a smug expression and said, "Oh dear, I seem to remember that if the dorm fails the hygiene inspection, you can't apply for scholarships or be considered for awards. So sorry about that." She knows that I study so hard in order to get a scholarship. yet, one instance of failing the dormitory hygiene inspection can turn all my efforts into bubbles, these days. She has been slacking off on cleaning, the trash can is overflowing, and she just waits for me to help her, but I'm not going to indulge her. I leave early and come back late every day, letting her live with the garbage by herself. As for the hygiene standards not being met, I glanced at her, then took my phone and went downstairs to find the student council. Nancy, what brings you here? The hygiene department head waved at me when they saw me, to get the scholarship. I participated in many volunteer activities, which is how I got to know the people in the student council. Hello, I remember that the issue of the dormitory's poor hygiene has been assigned to individuals, right? Yes, I opened the AA system app, and it showed that Judy is on duty this week. The minister immediately opened the computer and marked Judy as failing the inspection. Did you do the cleaning last week, right? Then the minister marked me as excellent and removed Judy's excellent mark. Can they do that? I asked. Yes, in the past few years, many dormitories had fights over hygiene issues, which escalated to the higher-ups, so the rules were revised for your batch. This system was also developed by a capable person and has alleviated a lot of dormitory conflicts. When I returned to the dorm, Judy rushed over and grabbed my hand. Why does the notice say I'm the only one with poor hygiene? Did you pull some strings to change it? It's your turn on duty this week. The hygiene failure is your fault. What does it have to do with me? We're in the same dorm. Did you forget we set up a split bill system, because she was overcharged for electricity before? Judy learned her lesson and stopped using the air conditioner so recklessly. Even my sleep schedule has become regular. On the night the second week ended, she screamed again. Why does it say I have insufficient balance? I opened the system and couldn't help but laugh. It showed that my electricity bill was deducted by 2.5, and then I received $500 as compensation for emotional distress. On the contrary, Judy was deducted $500 and now owes the system dozens of dollars. Judy wanted to file a complaint, and the system listed the reasons one by one. Over the past 2 weeks, we have set 11 p.m. as the designated rest time, during which no one should disturb others. Ms. Judy has been making loud noises, disturbing others for a cumulative total of 20 hours. Based on the minimum hourly wage of $20 per hour, she is required to compensate Nancy $400 for emotional distress. In terms of hygiene, we compared the cleaning conditions, trash disposal, and instances of dirtying the floor between Ms. Nancy and Ms. Judy. Additionally, considering that Ms. Nancy has cleaned up after you and turned off the lights for you after 11 p.m., we have decided to deduct $100 from Ms. Judy as compensation for Ms. Nancy's efforts. Then, the system added in a pitiful tone, Ms. Judy, the system has temporarily covered the expenses and paid Ms. Nancy on your behalf. You need to recharge $520.83. Judy snapped, get lost, whoever wants to pay can pay, I'm done with this. A notification from Alipay sounded, your balance has been deducted by $520.83, remaining balance. Judy, this is robbery. Even though the money was deducted like this, Judy still felt I was taking advantage of her. She has made many friends outside and often speaks ill of me to them. I don't really care. But I never expected that Judy would incite people from outside the school to corner me against the wall. I heard you've been asking my sister for a lot of money, you even made her cry, the little punk said, stepping closer to me. Be smart and transfer her $1,000, and I'll let you go. Just as I was thinking about how to get away, I heard the system alarm sound not far away. Ms. Judy, if you want to forcibly demand $1,000 from your roommate, you must first deduct $1,000 and give it to your roommate, and also pay $500 in emotional distress compensation. Ms. Judy, the sharp alarm sound caught the attention of many people. Then, I saw Judy hastily stuffing her phone into her pocket and rushing toward me in a panic. Forget it, I was just joking with Nancy. Are you okay, Nancy? A stiff smile lifted the corner of Judy's mouth. Me, yes, there is, your friend scared me, apologize. Hurry up and apologize. Judy winked and made faces at the little blonde guy. Only after hearing the apology did the alarm sound finally stop, but in the afternoon, the advisor notified us to go to the office. She severely criticized Judy and made her apologize to me. Only then did Judy realize that this app could automatically detect campus bullying. When she sent the little punk to block me, the system had already sent an alert to the teachers and administrators above. Fortunately, in the end, I didn't transfer $1,000 to Judy, otherwise, Judy wouldn't be in the dormitory right now. she'd be at the police station. In the end, Judy only received a minor punishment of writing a self-criticism. I hit my head in frustration. I was really careless. If only I had just transferred the money. The counselor held my hand and said gently, "If you ever feel wronged in the future, come find me, okay? If you want to change dorms, I'll fully support you." My heart warmed. If this system could cover all campuses, how wonderful that would be, and there would be no more school bullying. Judy never expected that her self-criticism would be posted publicly. One by one, the friends she had made drifted away, and her slander and rumors about me were debunked. I work part-time at a coffee shop, and sometimes people come up to me and say, "I'm sorry," mentioning that they had no idea Judy was that kind of person, perhaps sensing that she was being isolated. She started trying to win me over. She kept putting on a show of sisterly affection in front of others, either linking arms with me or feeding me snacks. "Is it free?" I asked warily. "No, no." "Are they rotten or dropped on the ground?" "Of course not." Seeing that Judy was getting a bit flustered and angry, I finally took it and ate a little. From then on, whenever she bought snacks, she would eagerly ask if I wanted some, and before I could even respond, she would shove them into my hands. I'm not that naive to think she suddenly became a good person, until I saw that the snacks I bought through a purchasing agent were gone from my desk. These snacks are quite expensive per pack, and I can't even bring myself to eat them. On the first day, one pack went missing, so I put the snacks in a drawer. The next day, when I opened it, wow, they were all gone. "There's a mouse in the dorm room, and it ate my snacks." I looked at Judy and said, "How could there be a mouse?" She didn't even look guilty, even though the wrapper of my snack was still in her trash can. "By the way, Nancy, let's go have hot pot." She had invited me to go out for meals several times, and I had turned her down every time. This time was no exception. "No." "Then go to the cafeteria and grab my package for me while you're at it. I sent you the pickup code." Judy waved her phone. "Hurry up. I'll turn on the air conditioner ahead of time and wait for you." I've never seen someone so shameless, but I still helped her get it, pulling the little cart along, because the system told me that helping my roommate pick up packages costs $1 for small items and $3 for large ones, with an additional $1 per floor for carrying them upstairs. I did the math. I've picked up quite a few packages these days. As I carried her packages in one by one, Judy blew me a kiss. But the next second, "Ms. Judy, your balance is insufficient. Please recharge as soon as possible." Judy stood frozen in place, and before she could react, another payment was deducted from her Alipay account. As for me, within a week, I happily pocketed another $500. Judy angrily shouted, "Damn system, how did you calculate this?" "System, the system detected that you took 10 packs of snacks from Ms. Nancy, based on the market price. Each pack is $15, totaling $150, when exposed in public." Judy's face didn't even turn red. Instead, she raised her chin and shouted, "This doesn't count. We're friends. What's wrong with having a little of her snacks?" "System, taking without asking is stealing. She eats my snacks too, so how do you explain that?" "System, that was given voluntarily by you to Ms. Nancy, which counts as a gift." I held back my laughter and pretended to be very upset. "Judy, you're actually that mouse." The dormitory door was open, and Judy's sharp voice was probably heard by the entire building. Hearing the commotion from our side, many girls curiously opened their dormitory doors. The system also emphasized, "Your voluntary gifting is not within our jurisdiction, but taking without asking counts as theft, and we haven't even calculated the emotional damages you caused Ms. Nancy yet." Judy clenched her fists, as if she had reached her limit. "That's only $150. What happened to the rest of my money?" "System, you asked Ms. Nancy to help you pick up your packages. Small packages cost $1 each, large packages cost $3 each, and carrying them upstairs costs $1 per floor. You live on the 3rd floor, totaling $300. You also asked Ms. Nancy to bring you food, with a $1 delivery fee and a $1 upstairs fee per trip, totaling $40. Can't roommates help each other out? Besides, Nancy agreed to it herself. First, we did not detect you helping Ms. Nancy with anything, so there is no mutual assistance. Second, you were the one who actively requested Ms. Nancy's help. When the system was initially coded, we considered the possibility of people-pleasers being unable to refuse, so we added an emotion recognition function. The system detected that Ms. Nancy was unwilling to help you with the packages, and you forced her. Then there should still be some left. There's still $10 left. which is the amount we calculated for you secretly using Ms. Nancy's shampoo, body wash, and laundry detergent, I exclaimed in surprise. No wonder I felt like my things were disappearing. It was you using them, Judy. You have a monthly allowance of $2,000, why would you take advantage of me? I only have $1,000 for living expenses and have to rely on part-time work. I covered my face, pretending to be upset, but in reality, I was about to burst out laughing. The other girls came over to comfort me, criticizing Judy's behavior. Meanwhile, the system continued to drone on mechanically. Ms. Judy, your actions constitute petty theft and have already caused a negative impact. We hope you will correct your behavior immediately and turn over a new leaf. Judy became a social outcast, although everyone remained superficially polite to her, behind her back. They all accused her of stealing from me and mistreating me. Some even asked if I wanted to move to their dorm, but I declined. I believe Judy will get better. She just invited me out for a meal. If I leave her, where else can I earn $500 a week? However, to restore her shattered image, Judy has paid a heavy price. For example, serving me tea and water in front of others, insisting on working with me on group assignments. Actually, others didn't want to be with her anymore. With the AA system in place, Judy couldn't slack off on group assignments either, because the cost of slacking off was losing money. I accepted Judy's invitation to go out for a meal. At the hot pot restaurant, she ordered a lot of dishes. Aren't you going to order any meat? I asked. Oh, you can order, I'm on a diet recently. She smiled slightly and placed the menu in my hand. I ordered a portion of beef and a portion of tripe. Is this enough for you to eat? She asked. It's enough. Isn't there still more food? Let's order a bit more. Looking at her pleading eyes and remembering the over $1,000 I had earned from her, I ordered 2 more meat dishes, but I never expected that when the dishes were served, Judy specifically picked out the meat to eat. Aren't you on a diet? I couldn't help but ask. Oh, it's fine to eat lean meat. You ordered these dishes yourself, and you're not eating them. Just eat. If you can't finish, I'll eat it. I don't mind either. We can split the bill later anyway. Are you done eating? She asked. Finished. Then, Judy stood up. So we don't want these dishes anymore, right? Waiter, pack them up. Me, what are you going to do with them? There's no place to cook in the dorm. I'll give them to my boyfriend. That's when I found out Judy was dating that little punk. No wonder she always disappeared on weekends. Pay up. It's $240 in total. The dishes I ordered are $60, you cover the rest. Judy said without batting an eye. Wait, didn't you eat most of the meat when it was served? Now I understood what she was up to. This was how she calculated the bill for hot pot. Even splitting the bill evenly felt like a loss to me, and she only wanted to pay for the dishes she ordered. That's how we always do it where I'm from. Everyone pays for what they ordered. Judy crossed her arms and spoke with confidence. I took out my phone and smiled. No worries, we're linked to the AA system. And it's already taken care of the payment for us. What? Judy checked her phone and her face turned pale. The screen showed she was charged $200, while I was only charged $40. The system thoughtfully calculated the quantity, size, and unit price of the food she took and clearly marked them. I want to appeal. The food I packed was leftovers I couldn't finish. Why is that being counted against me? System. Since you took it for your boyfriend, it is counted against you. I almost felt like applauding the system. Judy gritted her teeth, looking absolutely terrifying. The waiter nearby asked Judy fearfully, Ma'am, would you still like me to pack this for you? I said, pack it up. She already paid. I stood up and left, hailing a taxi back to school. That night, Judy didn't come back. She probably stayed out with her boyfriend. It wasn't the weekend, and our school prohibits staying out overnight without taking leave. A knock sounded at the door. Is everyone in the dorm? The student council is checking. I looked at my phone and saw Judy had messaged me, asking me to cover for her absence from the dorm. I only replied with 3 words. Why should I take the risk for you when you stay out all night? That night, she was found by the counselor in her boyfriend's bed. It is said that the counselor looked grim and earnestly advised Judy to have self-respect. Judy was unconvinced and shouted, This is an era of free love. You old-fashioned people, the counselor continued to persuade her, you've only been with him for a few days, and you trust him so much. Couples should trust each other. The counselor had no other options and just told her many cases of female college students being deceived, but she remained completely unmoved. After she was released, she glared at me. Nancy, you're not even willing to help with such a small favor. If you want to live off campus, just honestly ask your advisor for leave. Why should I help you? Judy cursed at me a few more times and only stopped after hearing the system's notification sound. In the evening, I saw her angrily trying to uninstall that software, but it was all in vain. She threatened to call the police, accusing me of scamming her for money, but the system replied that this software is legally protected, and the compensation money was all voluntary. Judy, I wasn't voluntary. I had no idea at all, before binding. The system did remind you to read the terms and conditions. Besides, you brought this on yourself. Who else is there to blame? This was the first time I heard the system's mechanical voice carry a hint of impatience. Then I want to cancel AA. The system has detected that you have unhealthy lifestyle habits and personality traits. To protect the physical and mental health of other students, forced cancellation is not permitted. But I have a suggestion. What suggestion? I suggest you deposit more money into the system, as I have to cover for you every time. I thought Judy had finally calmed down, but little did I know, she had run out of ideas and directly brought her mother into the picture. Judy said her mom was passing by and wanted to come over to see us. I know that many of Judy's reckless behaviors are instigated by her mom. Out of curiosity about what kind of mother could raise such a daughter, I agreed. When I returned to the dorm after finishing my part-time job, I saw her mom rummaging through my things. What are you doing? I'm checking to see if you've stolen anything from my daughter. Probably Judy had said a lot of bad things about me to her mother. So her mother was very rude to me from the start. Her mother was also a head shorter than me, but she had a bit more cunning and deceitfulness than Judy. Are you trying to slander me, Judy? Was it you and your mother who said I stole your things and slandered me? I looked at Judy, who was covering her mouth and snickering in the distance, and asked, of course not. My mother was just afraid I would be wronged. All right. Then you tell your mother now, did I steal your things? If Judy says yes, the system will charge her with slander and defamation, and then notify the academic advisor. She could only honestly say, no. Then let me ask you, did you use my shampoo, body wash, or laundry detergent before? I continued to ask, watching her face turn red with embarrassment. What do you mean? How could my daughter use your things? Is that so, Judy? Didn't you tell your mom? Didn't I already compensate you? Judy's tears were streaming down, looking utterly pitiful. Seeing her daughter cry, her mother's heart ached with distress. Oh, my dear, how much have you suffered? Her mother slapped her thigh and started acting unreasonably. I quietly opened the door, letting the classmates who were eager for gossip have their fill. You and your mom were chatting in dialect, talking about me behind my back. Did you really think I wouldn't understand? I took out my phone and played the recording of their conversation. Mom, I don't feel like picking up the package. What should I do? Are you dumb? Just send the pickup code to your roommate. She's bound to go out anyway. It's normal for classmates to help each other out. Mom, I'm out of shampoo. Can you give me some money to buy more? Are you stupid? Just borrow some from your roommate. What if she says no? Then just use it without asking. No one will notice if you use a little. Judy really didn't expect me to understand, and she looked a bit stunned, perhaps to cover up my recording. Judy's mom cried even louder. What a sin, to run into such a scheming roommate who's bullying my daughter to death. Mom, stop talking. Judy probably felt a bit embarrassed too. She had originally wanted her mom to use her status as an elder to teach me a lesson and put me in my place, but she never expected that I would talk back without holding back and even play their conversation recording. If she had known, she wouldn't have video called her mom, looking at the growing crowd outside. Judy covered her face, but her mother seemed to get more energized the more people gathered. Poor people are bullying my daughter. They think she's naive and easy to take advantage of, cheating her out of her living expenses and even stealing her food. Before I could say anything, the girls outside couldn't stand it anymore. Auntie, it was your daughter who stole from others and bullied them. Why are you making false accusations? That's right, Auntie. Your daughter's written apology is posted in the lobby. Why don't you go take a look? Her mother was slightly taken aback and cried even louder. My daughter was wronged. She's been obedient and well-behaved since she was a child. I give her $2,000 every month. How could she possibly steal someone else's things? Mom, Judy had no other choice and could only cry along with her mother. The crying attracted the dormitory supervisor. What's going on? Who are you? And what are you doing in the student dormitory? The supervisor frowned and asked. I am Judy's mother. If I hadn't come, my daughter would have been bullied into depression by this monster. Judy's mother pointed at me with her index finger. Everyone looked at me sympathetically, as if to say, what a pair of mother and daughter to deal with. The dorm supervisor rolled her eyes and said, if you have any complaints, go talk to the counselor. Don't come looking for the students. I will. And I'll even teach her a lesson on behalf of her mother. Judy's mom suddenly sprang into action and slapped me across the face. No one, including me, expected Judy's mom to suddenly resort to violence, but the next second, Judy slowly collapsed. System, alert, alert, it has been detected that Ms. Judy is instigating her mother to attack Ms. Nancy. Electric shock mode is now being activated. Every time her mother hit me, her daughter would tremble all over. And then she would be fined $500 as compensation for my emotional distress. The bystanders couldn't stand it anymore and stopped her, saying, "Your daughter is about to be electrocuted because of you." Only then did Judy's mother notice Judy lying on the ground, unconscious. Finally, Judy was taken to the hospital. I applied some medicine and, together with Judy's mother, went to the counselor's office. "This is the first time a parent has come to the school to cause trouble and hit a child," the counselor said with a grim expression. "Teacher, you must stand up for me. My daughter is still lying in the hospital. That's her own fault. There's nothing I can do about it," the counselor said. "Blame yourself for resorting to violence. Then, she should at least pay for the medical expenses, and the money she swindled before. That was Nancy's compensation for emotional distress. It's legitimate, you're welcome to report it to the police, but if you do, the fact that your daughter previously instigated her boyfriend to rob Nancy will come to light. She'll face disciplinary action and have a record, for sure." Her mother's lips turned pale upon hearing this. "No, I can't have a criminal record. Judy told me that she plans to take the civil service exam and enter politics in the future. She even said with a smug look that her family has connections and could help her cheat her way in." How foolish to just blurt out such things. What would happen if someone like that got into politics? I have evidence in hand, and after changing dorms, I'll take it straight to report her. "Wait, you said boyfriend." Her mother suddenly snapped back to attention and caught the key point. "Yeah, didn't your daughter tell you? She found a boyfriend off campus. And I caught her staying out overnight before." Her mother was momentarily dazed and seemed a bit unsteady. When Judy returned, her mother slapped her across the face. "I sent you here to study, and you dare to get a boyfriend." "Mom, I'm in college now, why can't I date?" "So all these days, when you asked me for $7,000, it wasn't because your roommate was blackmailing you, but for your boyfriend." Her mom suddenly became sharp, and I, who was called out, widened my eyes in shock. Damn, I've become the scapegoat. That's a huge accusation being thrown at me. "Yes, it's his birthday. Is it wrong for me to buy him a birthday gift?" The mother and daughter started arguing fiercely. During the argument, Judy's mother pushed her, but fortunately, the dorm supervisor nearby caught her. "Don't lay a hand on her, she's pregnant." "Yes." The dormitory supervisor accompanied Judy to the hospital for a full-body checkup. And the doctor informed her that Judy was pregnant. Everyone froze for a split second. Then, Judy burst into tears, crying and shouting about freedom to love, but unfortunately, her boyfriend was clearly just playing with her. "Let's break up. The shoes you gave me were fake, and you made me lose face in front of my friends." Judy didn't even have time to tell her boyfriend about the pregnancy before he blocked her. 10 later, Judy dropped out of school. And the AA system we had set up was automatically cancelled. The money stored in the system was also automatically transferred to my card. I earned a few $1,000s, most of which was compensation from Judy for emotional distress. The recording I have seems useless now, but I'll still back it up and submit it. What if Judy makes a comeback? I also got a new roommate, and this one is a normal person, so there's no need to use the AA system anymore. Later on, I became a sophomore and was elected as the president of the student union. A freshman girl came knocking on my dorm room door to greet me, thinking she wanted to consult me about student union matters. I let her in, unexpectedly. She asked me, "Senior, my roommate is from a poor family and only has $800 a month for living expenses. I'm worried she might take advantage of me. What should I do?" I paused for a moment, then smiled at her. "Just set up an AA system. It's fair and just. Do you want me to recommend it to you? Once it's set up, you'll find out who the real freeloader is." After hearing the first story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see. My roommate from a poor family doesn't seem to be good at math. When I bought a buy one get one free milk tea, she said the one she drank was the free one, so I still need her to pay for her share. She had acute gastroenteritis in the middle of the night, and I accompanied her to the hospital, but she said, "I never wanted to come to the hospital, I just wanted to buy a $3 stomach medicine. You insisted on bringing me here, so I won't pay for the taxi. I'll only pay $1.5 for the medicine." Given her poor family background, our dormitory tries our best to be tolerant of her, until she started dating a boyfriend who also liked going Dutch just like her. She asked how many pieces she could eat if there was a box of Swiss rolls. Her boyfriend said, "Baby, you just pay for however many pieces you eat." I advised her to open her eyes and see clearly, but she thought I was jealous of her having a good boyfriend and pushed me down the stairs, causing me to fall to my death, and the other two roommates chose to keep quiet after receiving their guaranteed graduate admission spots in this second life. I must let them tie the knot and see who else can split the bill with her without me being the financial cushion. It wasn't until I saw the milk tea ordering page in front of me that I realized I had truly been reborn. In my previous life, my roommate Nina wanted to share a milk tea with me during a buy one get one free promotion. Seeing her eagerness, I nodded in agreement, but to my surprise, after she brought the milk tea back, she said to me, "The one I'm drinking was free, but yours costs $22. Just as I was doubting my ears, Nina added, "Oh, right, you also need to give me an extra $5 for the delivery fee." I was about to say something, but my other two roommates gave me a look. Considering that Nina is from a low-income family and her financial situation is tough, I thought I might as well pay a little extra. However, that very night, Nina started vomiting and having diarrhea. I took her to the hospital, but she blamed me for meddling in her business. For the taxi fare and medical expenses I had covered, she only gave me $5 in return. She claimed, "I only wanted to buy $5 worth of medicine for gastroenteritis. If it weren't for you wanting milk tea, I wouldn't have gotten sick. Giving you $2.50 means I'm not taking advantage of you." After suffering this unfairness in silence, I stopped actively staying close to her, however. She then pulled out a depression diagnosis certificate and placed it in front of me. "Because of your attitude, I developed depression. You should cover the treatment and medication costs." I had never encountered such an unreasonable person before. With the other two roommates adding fuel to the fire, I ended up in a physical altercation with Nina on the spot. Nina grabbed my hair tightly and pushed me down the stairs, instead of calling an ambulance right away. My roommates were busy coordinating their stories, claiming I had fallen on my own. In the end, after causing a scene at the school for several days, the three of them secured guaranteed graduate admission spots. One of the roommates said, "Nina comes from a poor family, so it's only fair she gets a bigger share. Bella is narrow-minded and deserved to die." But usually, whenever Nina has something to do with money, they all act like ostriches and never say a word. In this lifetime, without me being the blood bag, I really want to see if they can still speak so confidently when they're forced to pay more. I suppressed the anger in my heart and said to Nina with a smile, "Oh, I just placed an order for milk tea from this shop. What a pity. Why don't you ask Lisa and Alice? It's just the beginning of the semester, and everyone is still not very good at rejecting a roommate who actively invites them to split the bill." Soon, both Nina and Lisa placed their orders together. Nina even deliberately walked over to me and said with a hint of jealousy, "Bella, I never expected someone as thin as you to be able to drink 2 cups of milk tea all by yourself. It must be nice to have money, unlike me, who has to find someone to share an order with." Lisa and Alice immediately sided with her, nodding in agreement with Nina's words. Alice even added, "So much money that you don't know where to spend it." I just smiled and didn't argue with them. It would only waste my breath to argue with them any further. The food delivery arrived quickly. Before I could even step out of the dorm to get it, I saw Nina, who had just gone out, come back carrying 2 delivery bags. She said loudly, "I'm exhausted. The delivery fee is $5 per person." With that, she swiftly held out the payment QR code toward me. I crossed my arms and didn't move, just stared at her coldly. Lisa also clearly looked displeased. I knew Nina was testing my limits. The market price for school errands like picking up packages and takeout is $2 per trip. Nina took my takeout without my knowledge and then tried to force me to pay her an errand fee higher than the market price. I took a deep breath and could feel my blood pressure rising. "Nina, I don't need you to run errands to get my milk tea, and you didn't inform me about this beforehand." I tried to reason with her. Besides, I saw that running errands on the wall only costs $2 per trip. Charging $5 is just too much of a rip-off. Who knew Nina's face would darken with anger? She stood up and became aggressive. "Did I do something wrong by helping you get the takeout? You must know I'm a student from a poor family. Your family is so well off. What's wrong with giving a little extra as a friendship discount?" It was the first time I'd ever heard of a reverse friendship discount. I don't want to break with Nina this early, but I won't let myself be taken advantage of either. I transferred her $2. "Not a penny more. We're just roommates, not friends," so let's stick to the market rate. Also, if you take my takeout without asking again, I won't be this lenient with you." As soon as the money went through, Nina immediately put on a pitiful expression. The two roommates who had watched the whole scene immediately gathered around to comfort her, like dogs catching the scent of blood, and didn't forget to take a jab at me. "Nina's family is already struggling financially, and you're still being so petty. Even though the family has money, you're still so narrow-minded." "It's okay, Nina, I'll transfer you $10. It's too much work for you to carry 2 takeout orders at once." With memories from my past life, I naturally knew what kind of person Nina was. As long as there was something to gain, she would absolutely drain others' wallets before she was satisfied. I just hoped that by then, they can still say such things. The three of them didn't enjoy their harmony for long. At midnight that same day, both Nina and Lisa started vomiting and having diarrhea. Alice was so frightened that she didn't dare speak, just sitting on the bed in a daze. What happened in my past life occurred again. But this time I won't act as Nina's blood bank or split expenses with her according to her absurd calculations. I lay in bed, listening to the chaotic sounds outside, but Nina didn't want to let me off. The bed curtain was pulled open, and she stood in front of my bed, saying, "Bella, can you take us to the hospital? We have food poisoning." I frowned. "What does your food poisoning have to do with me? It's very rude to pull someone's bed curtain without warning." Almost as soon as I finished speaking, Nina immediately started wailing and playing the victim. "We're roommates, how can you be so cold-hearted? Lending a hand in times of trouble won't hurt you." If I hadn't been reborn, perhaps I would have believed her words, but now I know that taking her to the hospital was just the beginning of me being taken advantage of. This time, I'm going to let my kind-hearted roommates have this opportunity to be exploited, under my firm stance. The three of them still went to the hospital on their own. Before leaving, Alice gave me a look with an unclear meaning, but I didn't avoid it and met her gaze until she was the first to look away. A night passed, and I didn't wait for them to return. Instead, I was met with a visibly angry instructor. "Bella, your roommates are sick. How could you just stand by and not help them? You've just entered university, and your values aren't fully formed yet. You can't be so indifferent, you know." These words, laced with criticism, left me a bit bewildered. In my previous life, the fact that Nina pushed me down the stairs was kept under wraps not only because my roommate covered for her, but also because the academic advisor played a part in it. It was only then that I found out the two of them were actually relatives, and the financial aid spot for needy students had been discreetly arranged for Nina by the advisor. Naturally, I didn't have a pleasant expression for him. But I still cooperatively put on a somewhat frightened look. "Advisor, I didn't think that much about it. I was just too tired and wanted to sleep." Seeing my sincere attitude in admitting my mistake, the counselor nodded with satisfaction and said, "It's good that you realize your mistake. I'll take you to the hospital, and you should apologize properly to Nina. Your family is well off, so you should take good care of your less fortunate roommate in daily life." That statement was practically an invitation to reach into my wallet and take the money directly. I smiled the whole time, double-checking that the recorder was still on. When we arrived at the hospital, we saw Nina and Lisa on 4 drips, while Alice was playing with her phone with her head down. The moment Nina saw me, she rolled her eyes dramatically. "Didn't you say my business has nothing to do with you? Why are you tagging along again?" Without waiting for my reply, she shoved the payment slip into my hand and said, "The doctor said it's acute gastroenteritis caused by eating something bad." I thought about it, and it must be because I drank your milk tea that I got diarrhea. "You have to cover part of this expense." "Of course, I'm not an unreasonable person. I'll definitely split the cost with you. I usually take a $3 stomach medicine, so I'll split $3 with you." "I'm not taking advantage of you," I frowned and asked. "Are you saying that you drank the milk tea on my desk without permission, thought there was something wrong with it, and now you want me to pay for your medical expenses?" Nina, with unjustified confidence, replied, "Exactly, it was your milk tea, so you have to take responsibility." I glanced at the medical bill in my hand, which was over $500, and turned to ask Lisa, "Did you also only buy $3 worth of medicine?" Lisa avoided looking directly at me and said, "That's right." The counselor spoke up at the right moment to pressure me. "Bella, apologize to your roommates first before paying the fee. It's just a few dollars, no need to make a big deal out of it, right?" Alice suddenly chimed in, "We haven't even calculated the taxi fare yet. They claim they don't want to take advantage, yet they're even trying to pin the taxi fare on me. They've truly mastered the art of having it both ways. Even a person made of clay has a temper, let alone someone like me who has been reborn." I smiled and nodded. then stopped a passing nurse and said, "Could you please remove their IVs?" Upon hearing my words, Nina immediately let out a scream. "Bella, what's wrong with you? Why are you having someone remove my four?" I crumpled up the payment slip and stuffed it into Nina's wide-open mouth, saying with a smile, "Because I'm the one paying for your medical bills." Lisa made a move to rush over and help Nina, but I pushed her, and she fell back into the chair. I turned to the still somewhat dazed nurse and said, "Could you please remove their IVs? Thank you." Even though I still had a smile on my face, the nurse trembled and avoided me as she removed the IVs from both Nina and Lisa, then ran off without even leaving a cotton swab. The counselor, though tall and strong, didn't dare make a sound when he saw my sudden outburst and only stood far away. Not to mention, Alice, I had them trembling like quails the whole way, shaking at the slightest raise of my voice. The counselor couldn't stand it anymore and started scolding me. "Bella, it's just about paying the fee. Is it really necessary to make such a scene? Don't you have any sense of the bigger picture?" I pushed him toward the payment window and said, "Oh, counselor, since you're so concerned about the bigger picture, why don't you pay for Nina and Lisa? And don't forget to cover their taxi fare too. After all, I'm just a student and really can't afford that much. If I end up with no money and can't even afford food, we might as well meet on the rooftop." Blocked by his own words, the counselor's face turned extremely ugly. When he scanned the code to pay, I could hear his teeth grinding loudly. After paying, he glared at me and said, "Are you satisfied now? Apologize to your roommates immediately." I smiled, pulled 2 boxes of norfloxacin capsules from my pocket, and handed them to Nina. "Your accounts are settled, now let's talk about mine. These capsules are for treating diarrhea. One box costs $16. Since you and Lisa will share them, it comes down to $8 per person, $8 minus your $3 budget. Just give me $5 each, plus the taxi fare and the money for you stealing my milk tea." I took out my phone and did some calculations. In total, you owe me $20. Nina clearly didn't expect me to use her own shameless tactics against her. She pointed at me, stammering, you, but couldn't get a complete sentence out. I smiled and aimed the payment QR code at her face, which was twisted with anger. "Come on, good roommates who don't like taking advantage of others. Ever since I tricked them at the hospital, I've been completely isolated by them in the dorm, and they often make sarcastic remarks about me." The counselor hasn't given me a friendly look either, but since I'm not competing for awards or honors, his attitude doesn't matter to me at all. Every day, I just watch them being all lovey-dovey in the dorm with a sense of amusement. I know, this harmony is merely superficial. At noon today, Nina surprisingly ordered grilled meat takeout, with its vibrant Chinese-style packaging that even included a small bottle of lactic acid bacteria drink, probably to showcase their good relationship. She even deliberately shared a bite of the grilled meat with Alice. Alice said in a high-pitched, cutesy voice, "Thank you, sweetie, you're so much better than a certain young lady." Before Alice could swallow the barbecue in her mouth, Nina said, "Alice, the barbecue rice is $34.9. Since you just ate 2 pieces of my meat, I'll charge you $10 as a friend price." I clearly saw Alice's chewing motion come to a halt, looking as if she didn't know whether to swallow or spit it out. 2 thin slices of barbecue, at most, would cost $2. The $34.9 price probably didn't include the discount. It was clear that Alice could figure this out too. Unable to hold back, she immediately said, "Nina, that's way too expensive. How did you calculate that?" Hearing someone question her, Nina raised an eyebrow and said, "What, do you think I'm trying to cheat you?" The tension between the two was palpable. Lisa immediately stepped in and said, "Oh, come on, we're all friends here. Let's not be so particular about it. Alice, you know Nina's family isn't well off, you've eaten her food too, so it's no big deal to chip in a little extra." Alice opened her mouth but couldn't say anything. The words she had spoken earlier had turned into boomerangs, striking back at her. Alice angrily took out her phone to transfer money to Nina. When our eyes met, she immediately said sarcastically, "What are you looking at? Some people want to eat but can't even get it." I was amused by her words. 2 slices of grilled meat for $10. Honestly, I'm not that eager to eat it. What a waste. That casual remark nearly made her spit blood in frustration. After this incident, it was clear that the relationship between them was not as good as before, until one day, Lisa came in beaming and announced, "Everyone, Bob confessed to me, and I said yes. He wants to invite our whole dorm to a meal this Sunday." Upon hearing this, Nina and Alice immediately agreed with a smile and teased, "You better treat us to something good." Lisa's gaze fell on me, and after a long pause, she finally said, "Bella, you should come too. I don't want my boyfriend to think I'm isolating a roommate," as if her passive-aggressive and cold attitude these days wasn't isolating enough. Now she's putting on an act with me, but I knew it was bound to be quite a show. And with the mindset that it's better to be disgusted than to miss out on the drama, I still nodded and agreed. On Sunday, Nina had already put on a full face of makeup and spritzed on her man-repelling perfume before Lisa even got out of bed. She said, "This is a sign of respect for you and your boyfriend." Lisa was clearly unhappy, but she didn't say anything explicit. Instead, she reminded me, "Bob is treating us to this meal, so don't bring up splitting the bill again. Just focus on eating and be careful not to say anything inappropriate." Nina fiddled with her freshly curled hair in the mirror, seemingly oblivious to Lisa's words. The dinner was at a seafood buffet located quite a distance from the school. I had been there before and knew the prices weren't cheap. It was considered quite extravagant for college students. Between the transportation and the way he was dressed, it was clear that Lisa's boyfriend came from a well-off family. As soon as she entered the restaurant, Nina started putting on a show. "Oh my, this place looks expensive, right? It's really too much for Bob to spend so much. I'm not the kind of person who takes advantage of others. How much is the meal? I'll transfer you the money on WeChat." Bob clearly wasn't buying it. He smiled and stepped back, saying, "No need. I made it clear from the start that I'm treating everyone, so no one needs to be polite." Nina persisted, saying, "I'm really not like those materialistic women. Don't insult me with your money." I was completely stunned by her classic line from an old-school domineering CEO novel, and couldn't help but pick up my water glass to take a tactical sip while holding back my laughter. I saw Lisa's face turning green then pale with anger, but to maintain her image in front of her boyfriend, she still refrained from starting a direct confrontation. "It's all right, Bob. Although Nina doesn't come from a wealthy family, she's very strong-willed. If you don't let her pay her share, she definitely won't be able to sleep tonight," she said with a fake smile. "Nina, you can just transfer the money to my WeChat later." Their gazes met in the air, and I could almost hear the crackle of electricity. This meal was nothing short of spectacular. Nina seized every opportunity to get close to Bob, but Lisa blocked every single one flawlessly. The dinner table was a battlefield of sharp words and subtle maneuvers. While I sat in the corner and devoured 2 plates of watermelon, the meal was coming to an end, and Nina, having gained nothing, completely lost her composure. She threw her chopsticks onto the table and said, "I've lost my appetite. I'm leaving first." Nina hadn't taken more than a few steps before I called out to stop her. I knew that it would only take a tiny spark to set off the powder keg now. "Hey, Nina, didn't you just say you were going to ask Lisa for the money? Did you forget?" "When it comes to money, Nina would never forget. I said it on purpose." Lisa immediately chimed in. "If Bella hadn't mentioned it, I would have almost forgotten. Come on, it's $388 per person." Nina clearly didn't expect the buffet to be this expensive. Her expression went completely blank. After a long pause, she stammered, How could it possibly be this expensive? You're trying to scam me, aren't you?" I smiled and showed her the group buy price online. Nina almost popped her eyes out and started spouting her nonsense about splitting the bill again. "How can you calculate it like that? I'm allergic to seafood, and I only came to not ruin your fun. I barely ate any seafood or meat. You should be splitting the cost of my allergy medication instead, since you all come from well-off families. Is it so hard to look out for me a little more?" She delivered this twisted logic with complete confidence and conviction. Even Bob, who had been keeping the atmosphere lively all night, fell silent. He glanced at Lisa, who was clearly struggling, and said, "I didn't know your roommate, who you get along with so well, was this kind of person. It makes me question your character too. We don't really know each other well, so let's both take some time to cool off. I've already paid the bill." "I'm leaving now," Lisa, crying pitifully, begged him not to go, but all she got was a resolute back as he walked away. She glared at Nina with almost venomous eyes and said, word by word, "Are you happy now? I've been dumped. Is this what you wanted? I was going easy on you by letting you take the money, and now you're actually getting cocky with a little bit of kindness. Who takes money like you do?" Suddenly, she shifted her attack and hysterically pointed at me, shouting, "And you? Why didn't you just keep letting Nina take the money like before? If you had, she wouldn't have latched onto me, and I wouldn't have broken up with Bob. It's all your fault." Only then did I realize what had been bothering me all along. It turns out I wasn't the only one who had been reborn. Lisa and Alice are most likely also reborn. This also explains why I have no memory of Bob in my previous life. I understood in my heart and no longer held back, standing up to face Lisa directly. Lisa, how can you so righteously think of sucking my blood? Do I owe you? Haven't you had enough of my human blood buns before? No matter how much you scheme, what isn't yours will never be yours. That was true before, and it's true now. Doesn't feel too good to be used as a blood bag, does it? Compared to what I went through, this is just the beginning. Can't handle it already. Alice also stood up, her long manicured nails nearly poking my nose. Bella, your death was your own doing. If you want to blame anyone, blame Nina. What does it have to do with us? Nina clearly didn't understand what we were talking about, but she still looked at me with an expression as if I were her enemy. I snorted with laughter, leisurely put on 2 plastic gloves, picked up the leftover crab shells and shrimp shells from the dining table, and threw them at them. While throwing them, I said, "Who said I'm only targeting Nina? All 3 of you line up and wait. I'm going to deal with you one by one. You were standing on moral high ground and trying to guilt-trip me before, but now that you're bleeding a little, you can't handle it. You 2 aren't as noble as you claim to be, and you, Nina, if you dare provoke me again, I won't let you off as easily as I did last time at the hospital. Crab shells and shrimp shells are hard and fishy, with spines on them." I didn't hold back at all. And hitting someone with them would definitely be unpleasant. The 3 of them practically fled in panic, not even daring to curse at me. After that dinner, a crack appeared in their little clique, as good as it was before. That's how silent it is now, but all 3 of them tacitly avoided provoking me, probably because the previous 2 incidents had left them with significant trauma. Lisa often shed tears while looking at her phone, in stark contrast to Nina, who began to smile unconsciously at her phone. I realized that something was going on. According to the timeline from my previous life, that boyfriend who loves going Dutch just as much as Nina is about to appear. Sure enough, within a few days, Nina was loudly video chatting with a guy in the dorm. As for how I know, it's because Nina had it on speakerphone, and the volume was so loud I could hear it even from the bathroom. "Baby, if I want to eat Swiss rolls, and there are 8 in a box, how many can I have?" The man across from him said without hesitation. "Each one costs $5, so 8 would be $40. Nina didn't get the answer she wanted and pouted in dissatisfaction, coquettishly saying, "Then, honey, what if I don't have any money but still want to eat 8 Swiss rolls?" "Of course, your husband will lend you the money so you can buy them. Don't forget to pay me back for yesterday's date expenses. 1 portion of braised chicken rice for $15. Lemonade for $4, and a shared bike for $5. Just transfer me $20. I just waived that 50 cents for you, honey. Isn't your husband good to you?" Nina quickly nodded, but after a moment, she realized something and asked, "But honey, wasn't that glass of lemonade yours to drink?" "But sweetheart, if it weren't for coming to see you, why would I ever splurge on something like lemonade? So, it's not like I'm trying to take advantage of you. I bet you're just itching to reach into your pocket and pull out the money." They are truly a perfect match for each other. Even Lisa and Alice couldn't hide their schadenfreude expressions, but soon, they couldn't laugh anymore, because Nina's boyfriend said that Nina had the least belongings, and the common area was taken up by the other 3. "We all pay the same tuition, so why should they get to use more space? They must pay you back for it." When Nina said this, I even doubted my own ears. Is this something a person with normal thinking would say? Could it be that being in a relationship just makes things worse? Nina's first target was me. "Bella, you have so many clothes and bags, and you take up the most space in the dorm, you should contribute the most." Faced with a common enemy, Lisa and Alice also united, standing together against the outsider. "That's right, the dorm is a shared space. You're being too selfish." I originally wanted to sit back and watch the fight, but since they've come right to my doorstep, I'm not made of clay either. I immediately replied, "If you really have nothing better to do, you can take shifts with my dog every single day. You just look for trouble. Do I have to beat you up to make you feel better?" Each person gets a quarter of the dorm space. Open your damn eyes wide and see clearly. Did I put my stuff beyond my quarter? My words were full of attack power. Moreover, I noticed that Nina had turned on her phone's voice recorder, thinking she was being discreet, but I saw everything. She maintained her innocent persona, shedding 2 pitiful tears and said, but this is so unfair to us. If you have any issues, just say it directly. Please don't bully us like this." Without waiting for me to respond, she ran out of the dormitory. Sobbing, Alice crossed her arms and said with schadenfreude, "Bella, how come you're still so foolish even after starting over, being played by Nina like a fool? Why don't you just jump off a building now? that would save us the trouble of coaxing her and waiting for the graduate recommendation spot. I replied with a smile, "Oh, then you might be waiting in vain. Perhaps it would be faster to go deal with Nina right now." Both of their expressions noticeably changed. I know they must have had this plan in their hearts, they just needed a little push from the outside. Soon, I came across a post titled, "I think I'm being bullied by my roommate." The entire post was filled with hypocritical remarks, portraying herself as completely innocent and the other party as utterly unreasonable. With the added evidence of the recording, the comments below were all uniformly comforting Nina and cursing me. I thought Nina would patiently gather a bit more evidence. But I didn't expect her to be so impatient. Seeing that the post wasn't particularly popular, I even spent a few $100s out of my own pocket to boost its visibility and add fuel to the fire. The post went viral just as I had anticipated. Nina quickly started a live stream to play the victim. Some alumni dug up the school and major, and with Nina intentionally letting it slip, everyone around me knew I was the main character, even walking down the street. I could feel the probing and mocking gazes of others. Nina practically swaggered with pride as she bragged to me, "Bella, I tried talking to you nicely before, but you wouldn't listen. Now look what happened. Your reputation is ruined. I've just been diagnosed with depression. If you still want to study peacefully at school, apologize to me right now and pay me back the money you owe." I sat on the stool, frowning, and asked, "What money do I need to pay you back, after being reborn?" I deliberately distanced myself from Nina. I really can't think of anything I need to pay her back for. Nina took a small notebook out of her pocket, opened it, and read, "First, the follow-up hospital checkups and a series of examination fees, initially estimated at $5,000. Second, for the electricity and water bills in the dorm. Since I live quite frugally, I should pay half the amount. You spend a lot of time in the dorm, so you should cover the rest of the expenses. Third, because of you, I developed depression. You must cover the cost of the diagnosis and treatment for my depression." She handed me a few sheets of paper. I took them and looked. Wow, sitting quietly in the dorm, and trouble falls from the sky. The depression diagnosis was mixed with several handwritten lists of date expenses, ranging from a cup of milk tea to hotel fees, adding up to nearly $100,000 in total. I couldn't hold back anymore and burst out laughing. "Wait. You're charging me for the money you spent on hotel rooms with your boyfriend? Was I under your bed when you were in the room? You're even including that in the bill?" Nina clearly felt a bit guilty after being called out and raised her voice, saying, "The doctor said I should do things that make me feel better, so of course, the money I spent should be on you," as if she had thought of something. She snatched my phone to make sure I wasn't recording before saying, "Bella, I've already given you a lot of face. The taste of being cyberbullied can't be pleasant, right? The counselor won't help you either. Isn't it worth it to spend a little money for some peace?" Lisa and Alice both told me that although you're sharp-tongued, you're actually the softest at heart. My family isn't as well off as yours. My parents are just ordinary workers. If you take care of me a bit more in daily life, I'll be grateful to you. I knew Lisa and Alice must have been stirring up trouble behind my back. No wonder, after I drew a clear line, Nina kept clinging to me instead of going after Lisa and Alice. They're taking advantage of the fact that I was bullied in my past life and want to suck my blood for another lifetime. You wish, you can have anything in your dreams. It directly made Nina so angry that she turned red. She immediately started drafting a post to criticize me online. I took the voice recorder from under my pillow, along with the few sheets of paper Nina had just given me, and added them all to the PDF I had prepared. I commented under her post, "I'm the toxic roommate in the post. Come at me if you're a real one." The homepage featured several screenshots from PDFs, and I specifically picked the most explosive ones, including but not limited to her chat logs with her boyfriend in the dorm, their arguments at the buffet, and her outrageous remarks about splitting bills in the dorm. Of course, the most shocking one was the photo of Lisa and Nina's dear husband hugging each other. This was something I had a private investigator gather. Netizens were originally furious as they clicked into my account, ready to tear me apart until I doubted my own existence, but they were all dumbfounded the moment they entered. I feel like a frantic hedgehog scurrying through a melon field. I always felt that the previous person was deliberately playing the victim, but in reality, aside from a few seconds of audio, there was nothing else. No, this PDF is absolutely solid, with clear logic and well-organized points. Does the poster offer PDF creation services? The OP is really a decent person. If it were me, if someone said those things to me, I would have fought with her on the spot. The public opinion suddenly reversed. As many netizens who had criticized me before now turned to criticize Nina, but Nina didn't have time to read the online insults. She screamed and questioned me, "Did you Photoshop that picture? How could my husband betray me?" I shrugged and said, "If you don't believe me, there's nothing I can do." Nina angrily made a phone call, putting it on speakerphone so I could clearly hear what the man on the other end was saying. "Honey, were you set up by someone? I saw a photo of you hugging my roommate. It must have been a trick of the angle, right?" The voice on the other end sounded lazy. "Since you already know, let's break up. You're just too materialistic. I prefer a good girl like Lisa. You actually wanted to drink tea last time you went out. You've really changed. You've become the person I hate the most now." Nina sobbed, choking on her tears. "But I'm carrying your child. Are you going to abandon the baby too? I've already split the cost of the condoms with you. This child has nothing to do with me. Handle it yourself and don't come looking for me." After saying this, he hurriedly hung up the phone. Nina was left alone in the dormitory, breaking down in tears. Just then, Lisa and Alice returned. "Lisa, how could you be so shameless, trying to seduce my boyfriend? Are you that desperate for a man?" Lisa crossed her arms, a look of disdain on her face. "You were so intimate with my boyfriend right in front of me. Did you think I was blind? What right do you have to accuse me now? That guy is so stingy. Only you would like him." This sentence completely enraged Nina. She raised her hand and slapped Lisa, the crisp sound of the slap echoing in the dormitory. Lisa wasn't one to take a loss either. She grabbed Nina's hair, and the two of them started fighting. Alice screamed from the side, "Stop fighting, you two, stop fighting." I took advantage of the chaos to snap 2 photos and noticed that Nina had already picked up the fruit knife on the table. Frowning, I quietly moved closer to the door. Almost immediately, Lisa rushed out the door ahead of me, only to be pushed down the stairs by Nina. It felt as if the scene from my past life was repeating itself, only this time, it wasn't me who was pushed down, it was Lisa. When I struggled out of the memories of my past life, Nina was already approaching me with a knife in hand. Her eyes were bloodshot with rage as she said, "Bella, I've ended up in this state all because of you. I'm giving you one last chance. Keep your mouth shut and don't call the police, and I can secure a graduate recommendation for you, if you don't shut up." She raised the knife in her hand, the threat unmistakable. Alice was so frightened that her legs went weak, and she said from the side, "Just agree to it, Bella. All you have to say is that you know nothing." Did they say the same thing to Lisa in their previous life? I smiled, pointed to the surveillance camera above, and said, "You probably don't know this, but the camera was fixed a few days ago. I was the one who reported it for repair." Nina, who had been hysterical just moments before, suddenly became calm and said, "Bella, I'm sorry, I was really wrong. Can you let this go? I'll never bother you again. I'll go online to clarify right now. Please don't report me, okay?" Suddenly, she lunged at me, knife aimed at my face. I was prepared and dodged, causing Nina to tumble down the stairs. I met Alice's gaze, and as she turned to flee, I pushed her down the stairs too. I said with a smile, "Just kidding, the camera wasn't fixed at all. Best friends should stick together, right?" In the end, I still chose to call 119, not out of pity for the 3 of them, but for my past self. With the groundwork laid by the previous post, this incident caused a huge stir. The case of a female college student attempting to murder her roommate stayed trending for several days. Thanks to the timely medical intervention, Lisa was saved, but her spine was severely injured, and she will be confined to a wheelchair for the rest of her life. Nina and Alice, having used a human cushion, ended up with less severe injuries, though they still suffered fractures. The counselor was strictly investigated and given disciplinary action and dismissal, to appease me. The school offered me a guaranteed graduate admission spot. I declined. With my grades, I could have gone to a better institution, so why should I take this blood-stained opportunity? After a period of quiet, 2 police officers suddenly came to see me. "Hello, classmate, the suspect said she wants to see you. We hope you can cooperate. She suffocated 2 roommates in the same ward. Her mental state is extremely unstable now, and she insists on seeing you before she will cooperate with the investigation." The moment I made eye contact with Nina, I knew she had also been reborn. We were separated by thick bulletproof glass, but she still went crazy, desperately throwing herself against it. I thought she would say something insulting, but I didn't expect it to be a plea. "Bella, I beg you, can you please not pursue this? My child can't be without a mother, and you can be her godmother too, in the future. My child can take care of you in your old age. I've already helped you kill those bitches Lisa and Alice. You just need to do me this one small favor." I met her pleading gaze and said, "I don't want to split the cost of formula and diapers with you. Find someone who's willing to share expenses with you, and besides, you killed for your own reasons. Don't pin it on me." Walking out of the police station, the sun was shining brightly, and I knew a brand new future had begun. After hearing the two stories above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.